Welcome back. I'm joined in the booth with Bravo. Bravo, how you doing?
Good, man. Feeling good.
Yeah, we've got a great match coming to you. Infamous actually just taking game number 5 to go down. Well, they're now 3-2 in favor of Warriors, but we're going into a game number 6, and we're looking at Oasis, King of the Hill. We'll be kicking this one off with Ryan Noob. And these teams actually just played this game type in Team Slayer fashion. Now we're going to be seeing King of the Hill, the objective game type. And you got to wonder, do you think the team that just won the Team Slayer really has an advantage in a King of the Hill game type?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, generally when you win a Slayer game type, it's because you understand the angles on the map, you understand when you can and can't push, and you really just understand what positioning. You have an overall idea of where everyone needs to be on the map. However, we see time and time again teams can outslay their opponent and lose in these King of the Hill game types. So definitely expect both teams to try to take advantage of time they're able to milk this hill time. For example, right now for Infamous, you see Clutch there in the Oasis trying to make so they can't milk time. But these little bits of time the teams are getting is probably what's going to lead to victory. Exactly.
We talked about it, the term milking. Just that means getting time when the game really, you don't really have any sort of control. You're just kind of racking up a few seconds here and there, and at the end of the game, it's really going to matter. You see a really good move getting in a kind of crazy battle with Snakebite, both of them punching, missing the entire time. We see 4 members up for Infamous. There's only 3 alive for Warriors, but they do have the grenade launcher in the hands of Royal 2.
Yeah, I found it really interesting that let me know if you've seen the same thing from the booth. The start of this game type is generally very slow. As you see, we're a minute in and almost there's 3 seconds of hill time. So I think both teams really try to establish control. And in my opinion, I think there could be, there might be a lack of direction the teams are taking when they try to gain control of this first hill, because as you can see, even though we're pushing into the minute and a half into the game, there's only 5 points. So I think teams really have trouble establishing that first hill control.
I also agree, but I think it's a little bit more of these teams, they want to almost establish dominance of slaying right off the beginning of the game. They're not necessarily interested in getting the beginning hill only because they know those side those side hills up top are so much more important. They get you a lot more time. So the beginning the beginning of the game, they're instead trying to outslay their opponents, let them know that they're for real, and then the time will kind of essentially come later in the game.
Yeah, definitely. And now you have right here weapons just dropped, so an interesting time in the game. Each team's going to try to grab weapons while trying to swing their positioning over to the edge of the map. So you have to have members along the grenade launcher and along the sniper. That really splits up your team, and you're trying to grab one on the side bases. So let's see who becomes victorious here as Lethal's taken out. On Infamous, his team gets a slight lead.
It seems Warriors definitely has control right now. Clutch with the sniper rifle, just picking up a double kill. And Warriors has just been they did a great job in the beginning of the Team Slayer game, guarding their own base, all 4 members over there. And it looks right now they have their perfect setup on this game type. You're going to see Dursky helping out with Snakebite in the hill with that grenade launcher. And then on the other side, you're going to have Clutch and Royal 2 guarding the main base. Clutch really going to kind of guard the green side with this sniper, and he's I have a bit of a fun fact. Clutch, actually, the last time he was at this venue is when he won the 2009 National Championship.
Yeah, it's an event I remember all too well, if you remember the Xbox incident. But something Gandhi and I were talking about yesterday is we saw Dursky. He has the nade launcher back here, and he's been sitting in the back of the hill. Kind of been watching Lobby, popping up to the hill when they need help, and mainly watching that back ramp. So it looks like that just gave them not only the lead, but essentially doubled the enemy's time. And some people might think that guy's a little bit out of position, but I think he serves a great purpose in the back of that hill.
I also think it's a great spot because of the fact the other team can spawn on your flag, and that's just a horrible spawn, especially if you've got full hill control. All of a sudden, one lucky spawn and 2 members of the other team are coming from behind, picking up easy kills. And we see as Warriors still with I won't say complete control, but with a lot of control of that hill. 3 down for Infamous. We've got Royal 2 just racking up the hill time. 45-17, and you see Ryan Noob again, the only one alive, but see, just what I was talking about, Blaze and Lethal just spawned behind them at the flag. Actually, APG is there too. And even though they got that spawn, luckily for Warriors, they didn't get it, and there's only 5 seconds left with the hill.
So new weapons dropping once again. Something that I really like that we've seen from Warriors so far to get this lead is I think their hill guy has not been overextending and challenging that bottom green location, because when an enemy spawns, they generally shoot the hill guy out of hill from bottom green, top green, and I stress to my team it's so important not to get weak, because if your hill guy's weak, then he's got out of position and the enemy's probably pushing on you 4v3. So I think it's a really nice job, a really nice choice for them to angle themselves away from the enemies who are spawning one by one.
It's kind of the same thought process, you know, CTF. You get the guy in the hill, all of a sudden it becomes a 3v4, and if the other team wants to get any time, they have to sacrifice almost another player to do it. You capture the flag, kill the guy that's supposed to run the flag, all of a sudden another player's got to move out of position in order to do it.
Absolutely, yeah, you want to be buying time.
Exactly, so kind of the same thought process here as the hill is in bottom green, and it looks as if APG does have the sniper, Ryan New picking up a big double kill in the hill, and Infamous using the bottom green hill right now to kind of get back into it. They really didn't get any time from that blue side hill.
Yeah, which is, you know, it's difficult when you know you have control and you don't get all the time you think you should. You know, that happened to our team several times on this map. It's like you said, if you have a setup that dedicates a guy to the hill, and maybe not a guy also to the back of the hill, if your hill guy is taken out or he has to finish a kill, that really eats up 10, 15, 20 seconds that you could have had in the hill. So it's very, you know, it's disappointing and it's frustrating to not get those hill times, and then you have to fight for this bottom hill again. So you really want to take advantage fully when you do have control to make sure you're getting as much time as possible.
And Clutch heating up with the sniper. He's had the sniper about 2 times this game. We've been watching, and he's been doing a fantastic job. Although on the other side, APG picking up a double kill. You see, it's just really been back and forth. Both these teams really shooting pretty well. But the one thing I want to stress, it seems that these teams have had really good teamwork so far in the tournament. I mean, we just watched, actually, Infamous lose to Dynasty. The Dynasty teamwork, absolutely insane. We saw Status Quo beat Instinct, their teamwork on fire. And obviously, Warriors had to beat Status Quo to even get here. So you got to be thinking, and even watching that first game, the teamwork aspect right now is just, it's there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this game type is even so far, or this game itself is testament to the fact that they have teamwork. You see, when one team has hill control, you don't see the other members of the other team kind of sprinting out. If they wait for each other, which is what you have to do on a game like this. They wait for one another, and you have to not only push out together, you have to challenge at the same time. So if you all say go, and you sprint in different directions, it's not going to work. You have to literally engage opponents simultaneously, which is very difficult to coordinate, all the angles to consider. Really nice shot there from Royal, too. And, I mean, I think that both these teams, it's clear that to get to this point in the tournament, they're going to have to playing with a lot of teamwork and a lot of discipline.
It's pretty funny because the way that we talked with Infamous, they told us they're really just, their strategy is to outshoot the other team, but obviously they play it for playing this on land at this event. They really had to change that up. They had to realize, you know, hey, we really need to do some setups, especially when the hills are over on these blue and red side hills. We can't let these guys just kind of sneak around us.
Definitely. I mean, if you look at Capture the Flag, if you have slaying control and that you're pretty much controlling the map, it's very difficult to lose a Capture the Flag on any map in Halo Reach. Whereas, what I mean by that is if there's one guy alive in a Capture the Flag game type, he's probably not going to kill your whole team and run the flag. Whereas in King of the Hill, if there's one guy alive, he could be getting, you know, 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there. And if your team isn't in position, you really have to get there. So you could slay as much as you want, but without slaying around the objective, you're definitely going to cost you.
And we've always talked about the objective dilemma by just getting in the hill, even if you're almost the last guy alive or your teammates are on the other side of the map, you have to force the other team into making a serious decision. Do they go and kill your teammates and try to take control of the full map, or do they come and go after the hill knowing you're probably going to come from behind and possibly get killed from behind? And just by doing that, like you said, it's really a decision. Do you give up the 10 seconds for full control, or do you not give up the 10 seconds and have a possibility of not having any control at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say almost every time you're going to want to just take the time to set up, unless it's late game and you have to make an irrational decision and just push out. Most of the time, you're going to want to just take the time, even if it's 20 seconds, even 30 seconds, rather than pushing out for an entire minute one by one. You know, it'll catch up to you. So I really like what we've seen from both teams here. As you can see, this game is within 20 seconds, so it's still really close. So both teams playing and making sure the other team never gets a full, solid control.
Exactly. We see Clutch here with the grenade launcher. Now on a killing spree, he's going to pick up a double. Is he going to pick up the double? No, Blaze, way too sneaky for him, but Blaze is going to go down by a Dursky nade. And you can see now the score, 92-77, 15-second lead here for Infamous. And I'm just watching a lot of these screens. These guys are not missing shots, really.
Yeah, I mean, they are all shooting really well. And this deep into the tournament, Chris, I mean, everyone, is probably pretty much on. Their sniping's feeling good. They're getting some lucky nade launchers here and there. One thing that I did want to say is I feel like these tunnels are very vulnerable the hill, rather, is very vulnerable to the tunnels. I feel like whenever we had a flanker, we'd send legit around somewhere. If you're able to get through that tunnel and get a nade on that bottom hill guy, it's generally pretty easy to break a setup. But what I've seen so far is that both teams are holding that down pretty well and putting a guy on these cliffs you see right here on Clutch's screen. I call these rocks the cliffs, red cliff and blue cliff. So nice job there to kind of lock that area down, because what I've seen so far on different screens during the entire tournament is that those open rock areas, not only do they offer some cover, but you can just quickly pop out, throw a nade, go back behind the rock, and kill a guy really quickly. So nice job here by both teams to kind of neutralize that threat.
Exactly, and one of the big strategies I've kind of seen, or I've kind of been really thinking teams maybe want to implement, is to basically get a guy in that hill, get a guy green too, and then 2 other players. They're going to be watching those tunnels. Like you said, the tunnels just seem the easiest spot for the enemy to kind of sneak up on the hill guy, really get the easy kill. And as soon as obviously you get the hill guy, it makes it so much easier that the other team's kind of going to freak out. Do you get in the hill? Do you not? And so that kind of strategy is probably, seems to be kind of the setup you want to run. But now we see Clutch as he spawns behind pretty much where the Infamous guys are going to be. Infamous making a move to try to get this hill, but all 4 members of Warriors, actually Snakebite dead, 3 members of Warriors all next to that hill.
Really nice job there if you guys were watching on Clutch's screen and his death screen. You saw Royal 2 grab the nade launcher right when it came up, and they all shifted their control to this side of the map to get this new hill. And as you can see, they are still somewhat maintaining control. So really nice awareness by them to try to control this new hill. I mean, you really have to shift early. It's very much like lockout, like I talked to Gandhi about yesterday. It's you really have to fully shift control. You can't just control one hill on the last second, move over. You got to really, plan that ahead.
You got to be all on the same exact page. You got to be thinking, hey, my teammate's got this power weapon. I need to get over to that side of the map, make sure that that guy does not die. He's going to get hopefully a few easy weakenings, maybe a few kills with it. And now we're seeing his Blaze is going to be making his way to the front of the base. You see him looking back to the blue side, a little bit scared that we're going to see some sort of warrior spawn over there. And Royal 2 just going to kind of sneak away. He knows exactly where he's going. Can't hide from Blaze. We're going to see this Warriors again spawning in the back of the red base. And it's just consistently there at the hill spawn. I mean, it looks like Infamous is going to get a little bit of control at some point, then all of a sudden 2 guys from Warriors pop up in the most unexpected place.
Yeah, really nice job by Blaze there to just be really annoying hanging out in that lobby. As his team was spawning, he was just putting shots and angling himself correctly. As you saw, he was against that wall and his team spawning in that back red, so they can kind of watch both sides of him. So nice job there, so they won't give up too much time here. And something else you had mentioned, I'm glad you brought it up, is kind of on that bottom hill having a guy bottom green and also top green. And I think that definitely has pros and cons. The one thing that's really good is if your bottom green guy has to back away, likely that top green guy can see that same exact angle. So they can kind of bait and switch without even being on the same area, which is really neat. And also, that same goes both ways, because say you have 2 guys on grenade launcher who's doubling the hill, those 2 guys can quickly shift and double the guy top green. So that's a huge threat, and you don't always want to have your players in the same line of sight. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see as this event happens, online practice and moving into Providence. Will teams kind of opt for that green, top green, or do they want to kind of have a guy on the bridge as they're controlling one side of the map? I'm thinking that some pro teams are kind of leaning towards the bridge. It offers a lot more cover, but definitely that green area, having 2 levels of control is definitely important.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually a great point. The bridge seems to be a little bit better of a spot, but you see a really good noob, Broly pulling around, coming back, hitting the no-scope, helping his teammates out. You can see this seems to be the spot you bring the sniper when the hill is bottom green. You kind of basically give cover. You have so many lines of sight, especially with that evade. Ryan can really kind of get out of any sort of trouble if it's sneaking up on him.
Yeah, one thing that's definitely required is what we just started talking about is really nice shot there. Ryan was on fire. What you want to have is control of at least one of these bases, and then you want, it's a lot like midship, any symmetrical map, you want to have control of one side and then that top. So if you have pink, you need to have blue or red, you know what I mean? So here he had grenade launcher spawn on lockdown, and then they can just control and move around like that. Yesterday we saw Roy kind of have the sniper in the rocks, red and blue rocks, and Gandhi and I were wondering, there's got to be a better spot for that, and I think maybe he was in a time pinch, he couldn't really move it, maybe he got a call out, but definitely keeping the sniper away from the hill would definitely be essential to really keep in control. If you have the sniper right by the hill, it's going to be really easy for teams to collapse on you.
And we see here 15-second lead by Infamous, but that's being cut into right now by Warriors, as Infamous went 3 down about 10 seconds ago. But now we see Ryan Noob. The hill is going to move to blue base. This final hill in 15 seconds will be blue, and seeing as the game is only 12-second difference, this last hill will decide it. And we're seeing Ryan Noob, knowing a Warriors player's back there, dodging a grenade. Him and Dursky, oh man, gets help from Blaze, and now it looks as if Infamous good position to be able to get this hill, and if at least not get this hill, stop Warriors from getting this hill.
Yeah, I think we could have another last-minute finish here.
See now the
there is
out
the
of
back
nowhere was that snake bite going huge for Warriors, and now it looks.
Oh no!
Oh my God! It looks.
He held it, but
I can't believe he
that could be.
betrayed his teammate. But they're
really
only 3 seconds down, 2 seconds.
If I'm coaching Warriors here, I'm telling them to kind of push out. They do not want to sit on this hill. Dursky needs to get across the map because Infamous is going to be coming hard. If they're able to kill APG, that was huge. Killing APG on that bridge is going to give them the tie-up. Now it's 3v3 for each team.
We see 3 alive for Infamous. They're going to make a mad dash for this hill. We've got Ryan Noob sitting there. Blaze also there. Clutch in the front of the base is going to get taken out. And 3, we're going to see a tie. Dursky's going to come out of nowhere. 3 guys by the hill for Infamous. They're going to keep holding it down, not allowing it. And there we see it, Infamous, in the last second, clutching it, overpowering Warriors right at the end there and taking game number 6.
Yeah, we've been seeing that for a lot of hill game types here. I think those last-minute games happened to us actually earlier. It's a great, good to see that the game type is so balanced, and it's also exciting to watch. Man, look at Clutch there with positive 15. He means business, man.
Clutch, channeling his inner 2009 national championship form, and Royal 2 also going +7. But it didn't matter the objective play by Infamous, the clutchness right at the end there.
And
you know,
let's not forget about Snakebite. I mean, going positive with 14 assists when no one else even had double-digit assists. So he is just. Wherever he was positioning himself in the lobby and on the bridge, he was just really laying shots into people.
And then
a really nice performance from
Ryan Noob on the other side with the most time and a +6 ratio. But regardless, it is an objective game type. So looking at those kills, you know, a little lopsided, but it doesn't matter. Infamous is going to take the win. And you know what? We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we've got Zealot Team Slayer for game number 7.